started in February 1973 as a recruit class of 28 members. In those days, the recruit college was at the top floor of Woden Station, and did my 6 months training there, and then graduated from training, and as we did all of us in those days, we went straight to the embassies, where I worked for 5 months, and then came back to the police college for a further 4 weeks and graduated at the completion of a 12-month stint. Yeah, went to general duties at City Police Station, and in completion of that I went to became a police motorcyclist, which I'd applied for, which most of us tried to aspire to in those days, and became a police motorcyclist in 1974 and stayed as a police motorcyclist, or stayed in traffic branch for a period of around about 12 years as a police motorcyclist, a high-speed driver, working in accident squad for many years, and in between got promoted to sergeant and senior sergeant within traffic branch. Very different world in those days. Night shift was a bit of a non-event. You'd start work on a Monday on night shift, and in those days from City Station we used to do the Woden Valley, because Woden Valley Police Station wasn't operating at night time. And on night shift we'd work a full week of night shift. You really didn't get jobs after midnight. Most pubs would shut at 10 o'clock. Couple of the nightclubs would finish at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, but it was pretty rare that you really did a job after around about 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, because basically Canberra used to shut down in those days. So it was a very, very different world to what we live in nowadays. You could do a whole week on night shift without really doing a job. Before actually random breath testing was introduced, we used to have reasonable cause to suspect that a person had been drinking, and there was no test at all. It was just a roadside gauge of what you thought. You'd take them back to the station, and where you'd perform a breathalyser based on your views. In fact, I was one of the first constables in 1974 that created case law in relation to reasonable cause to suspect, and there was a major challenge on the breathalyser and the ACT in those days. I ended up in Supreme Court justifying reasonable cause to suspect. The interesting part of that is the Chief Magistrate, who's just retired, Ron Carl, was the police prosecutor. We got up on that, but shortly after that they introduced roadside testing, which was a crystallised version, which was you break the end of a crystallised glass, you then got people to blow into it, and if it turned green at a certain level, then you had justification to take them into the police station. But that was again prior to random breath testing. I think the events of January the 18th, 2003, I was a forward commander in relation to the Canberra bushfires, and I think that's the thing that sticks most in my mind, and the significant events of those 2 or 3 days leading up to that event, and also the event that occurred on that particular day. And also the way the ACT responded, and ACT policing responded, and the nature of the people of ACT policing, and how we came to the fore and people stood up to be counted during that very, very major day. I don't think the duties have changed at all. I think it's still street policing. I still think it comes down to that. I still think it's the personalised nature of the way you do business is the most important aspect of it. Sure, procedures, practices have changed, legislation's changed, uniforms have changed, technology has made a huge difference to the way we do business, but fundamentally the job is still the same. It's still being able to deal with a cranky man, it's still being able to be supportive of people in times of crisis and what have you. So no, I don't think it's changed that much.